What up? I definitely lied to everyone when I said we're going to go later than 8:30 a day or two ago. Poor planning on my part. I realized I'd be really cutting it close because so I've got an appointment at 9, which shouldn't take long, and then I start work at 11 instead of 11:30. What up? Aw, what's up, guys? How's it going? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, it's almost noon for some of y'all. For me, it's 8 a.m. and it's my day off from the zoo, but I work at the shop today, so it's really not a day off. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, Steven. Good morning, Justin. What's on the agenda for today? Well, I figured, first of all, I want to say thank you to Kathy Woody out here for the delicious Kona Blend coffee. She gave me some coffee for helping her out with some stuff the other week, and it's delicious. I love coffee. And this was freshly brewed, so you're probably going to see a face of agony here. Oh, yeah, that's hot. But good. 11 here, yeah. I figured you guys are kind of like getting midday. Figured I'd give you an update on the little red Neo F1 babies. Fill you in on the zebra clutch if y'all missed that. And then talk about what's left for the season. What else? There was something I was going to bring up. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. So I'm sure some of you know who Junior is, the retic that belongs to Brian Cusco. Some of you have been following his story in Brian's channel, his personal vlog channel. And if you have been, you know that Junior's been living with me for a couple months now because I'm much closer to his current vet than Brian is, and Brian's all over the place. So Junior had procedure last week, I believe, and actually had some tissue removed, like a gland in his face removed. I don't want to say too much because y'all can watch it on Brian's channel. I'm sure he's doing something cinematic with it. We may have gotten some cool footage from the vets. Maybe. I haven't seen it. But basically, Junior's face looks much better. The associated swelling that is still current is just a result of the procedure and him having some sutures. But otherwise, he's good old Junior. Hasn't tried to bite me or do anything aggressive during the injections, and he's actually now getting double the injections just to help manage a little bit more. And that's a testament to Brian, because Brian has socialized this animal so well that going this entire time without food, living in an unfamiliar space, going back and forth to the vets, having surgery, this and that, and then every other day some random stranger poking him with needles. I kind of expected him to lash out a few times, and he hasn't been, thankfully, which is good because he's a big boy. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Dario. So Junior as well. Junior just shed. His face is looking much better, and we should be in the home stretch here. So if you are following the saga of Junior, the retic, just stay tuned to Brian Cusco's personal vlog channel. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, go look at Brian's channel and you'll find out somewhere. Scroll through. He's got a lot. But that was one thing that I didn't put in the description for today, and I don't even remember what I wrote. So one of the things that I thought was ironic was I always speak highly about how Papuans are so mellow, they're so easygoing, great first pet, like carpet, not huge, really, really mellow. The shed was fine. It was all over the place because he moved it around, but it was good. He got it all off. These little stinkers are still due for their first shed, and the majority of them have a penchant for biting me, which is great because they're little, so it doesn't even break skin, and I'm pretty confident they're going to eat well. If they're already attacking my hands, then I think a pinky coming in or something like that will be easy for them to switch over to. So hopefully those little guys will start eating. And then today marks day 31 of this gal's maternal incubation. So we are past the halfway mark of the MI jungle experiment, as far as the incubation goes. So we've got that going. I still anticipate those babies will start pipping on their own around day 60 or so. The temperature in that box is still fluctuating between like 85 and 92 sometimes, so it's all over the place. But it does seem to have like a pattern during the day of consistency in that range. So, and every time I check on her, the eggs are still looking great. So, obviously, I'm not like fully pulling her off the eggs or anything like that. Anytime I like physically check on her, I just lift up the lid. And if she doesn't move her head herself, I'll sort of like move a coil out of the way so just the top of the eggs are exposed, just to make sure I don't see anything outstanding. And so far, it couldn't be going better. So that's really exciting. And then most of you who follow me on the various social media stuff that I still participate in would have seen a barrage of photos of zebras and eggs, because I had a zebra clutch laid 2 days ago from a zebra pair. If any of you guys are familiar with that trait, if any of you are into like bloods and short tails, and you know the batik gene, the batik blood is the equivalent in blood pythons to zebras and carpets. It's a very busy, erratic pattern, and it is an incomplete dominant. So when combined with another one, the homozygous or superform makes a patternless animal. So the three various forms of this in a jungle would be: you have your normal jungle phenotype, which is just black and yellow in some degree, and pattern, and then you have the introduced zebra gene, which gets a really busy head stamp. I'll pull the male out. How about we do that? So this is the male, the sire. He is a zebra jungle. He was produced by Stephen Katz of SBK Reptiles. I'm sure most of you, if you're familiar with carpet pythons, will have heard that name. He's down in Southern California. He's been pretty influential for a lot of people, I'm sure. He's really good at getting new people into the hobby. And this was an animal that I acquired from him that was actually a twin. And if you guys know carpets and some pythons other than carpets, twinning is rather heritable. So we may end up with a twin in the clutch. But he is back on food. He's really friendly. Well, I wouldn't say he's friendly. He's tolerant. And then Melanie, as far as a website for incomplete dominant genes, I don't know if there is a website of like an entire list of all the genes. You could probably, if you're looking into carpet python specifically, Morelia Python Radio and EB Morelia, those two websites are basically run by Eric Burke, and he does a pretty thorough job of including stuff. Nick Mutton's book, The Complete Carpet Python, at the end goes into a lot of the various traits that were known and documented at the time. A few more have since come out. So this is the zebra, and then the super form is completely patternless. And I believe that even in the blood pythons, the super batik is like I don't know if they have a different name for it or whatever, but I think they have some tail kinking problems, and so do the super zebras. It's usually just associated with the tip of the tail, just like a little nub oftentimes, and it can vary, but Nick has anecdotally said that he thinks it's something that can be refined without crossing, sort of strengthening the gene, so we shall see, but I imagine if any supers hatch out, they will have a little identifiable nub on the end. Okay, yeah, so the clutch was 13 eggs. Thank you, Steven. And if you guys know how incomplete dominants work and Punnett squares are great because I'm a really visual person. So learning to make Punnett squares helped me sort of figure out what I should expect, things like that, and how things work. So if you were to work that out on an incomplete dominant trait like zebra here, you would see that 25% of the clutch statistically will be sort of your normal jungles, half of the clutch will be zebras, and the remaining 25% should be supers. Now, the only caveat I would add to that is that because the zebra gene isn't as strong as some of the others, for whatever reason, sometimes the eggs can go bad. There can be challenges with it, especially when you're like mixing in with other genes that could use them out crossing, like granite, things like that. It really compounds issues. So statistically, with a 13 egg clutch, I should get 3 supers, like 3 jungles, and 7 zebras or something like that. But I guarantee you that won't be how it works out. Let's see. Good morning, Jeff. Will I make it 3? Yeah, 3 possible super, or 3 supers in theory. Just something that explains incomplete dominant genes work in general. I guess I don't have a specific like website with the definition, but if you just Google incomplete dominant genes and genetic inheritance, even if it's not a reptile related site, it will explain it because it's the same thing. Basically, incomplete dominant gene refers to parents having one copy, a heterozygous individual, even though we don't use that term for anything but recessives for the most part, carrying one copy of the zebra gene on that particular strand of its DNA that controls that, and it has basically a 50% chance of passing that on. And so when you look at how it visually expresses itself in the phenotype, if this gene only needs one copy to express, then that influences like basically the results. Knowing Punnett squares will help with this. If you look up Punnett squares and how to do that, that will really help. And then yeah, any quick searching of that should yield it. I don't know anything that like I rely on personally off the top of my head right now, so I apologize for that, Melanie. Are you supposed to dock the kink due to shed issues or let it be? Depends on how it looks. So oftentimes it's literally like a fold over like that, and you will run into shed issues. And what I've heard people doing quite successfully without really any detriment to the animal is right after it's born, once you've established that that is a challenge, taking some nail clippers and some quick stop like you would use if you cut your fingernails too short or your dog or cat, and just doing that and dabbing some quick stop on it and calling it a day. And after the very first shed, it'll probably be fine. When they're that little, it's a pretty insignificant sort of thing to that. What's up, Ryan? I have to work later too, buddy. I feel your pain. Although it's at the reptile shop, so it's not bad. So we'll see if this guy did good. The eggs are only 2 days in, of course, so far so good. And the female I'm not going to pull out because she's not trustworthy. she's much better than she was, but having just laid a clutch, I need to get some food into her and get her back into her routine before I start really tinkering with her again. But picture this, just bigger, a little bit different. There's a lot of variation in zebras naturally. Some have, some dorsal striping. Some have a lot of ocelots, very different bellies. Some more tipped than others. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So, how old is this male? This guy he's a 2015, so he's 4. And he eats pretty much small rats. It's plenty for him. Yeah, he's not very big. So, he's a little twitchy, but he's never bit me, which is great. So, my male zebra is less than a year. Curious without power feeding. Bredli grow very fast. My 2-year-old female is massive, and I don't feed heavy at all. Jungles are definitely a bit smaller than them. And this guy, keep in mind, although he is 4, he was a twin, so he started life a little bit smaller than most carpets. He seems to have caught up just fine, but yeah, he was noticeably smaller for quite some time, even last year during the breeding season. So I wouldn't put too much weight on this being like the sort of like measuring stick for what a 4-year-old male is. They can certainly be larger. Dang, he looks really good on camera right now. In case you didn't notice, I was tinkering with some of the default camera settings to try and reduce some of this grainy garbage quality, but it's still the same built in. Good morning, Carly. Am I working at GX3? Yes. I'm usually there once a week helping Grant out. Just something fun for me to do. Can really connect with different people in the community, get to meet people, and really show people reptiles in a cool way. So it's a great shop. Grant does a good job there. So hopefully we'll get some babies from this guy in 2 months, coming out in July. Those jungles will be out in a month, so June. And then children's python female is due to drop her clutch any day. Who hasn't seen an adult children's python in here? Because I'm not going to pull her out, even though she'd be fine. She's pretty restless. But this guy's getting a little hectic here. So, easy, buddy. All right, then. This is Clyde. He is an adult children's python. The female is about the same size, although a little bit thicker. And they can get bigger than this, but I mean, that's it. Maybe 2.5 feet. Not big at all. Never needs to eat anything more than a mouse. Typically hoppers are just fine for these guys. But I mean, these things are tiny. So the eggs that I'm waiting on from the female any day now are probably going to be like that big, like grapes. Which means then I got to make sure my tubs are secure for teeny tiny, like 5-gram babies, because they're small little pythons. But while I've got this guy out, let's talk about Carpet Fest before I got to run. So Southwest Carpet Fest this year is at Brian Cusco's place in Atascadero. There is a Facebook page for it. There is a way to get in touch with people to get all the details and see what's going on. They're working on the t-shirt and the auction, so that'll be coming up soon, so stay tuned. But the event itself is the last weekend in June. the weekend of the 27th and 28th. So if you're trying to go to that, hit up the Facebook page for Southwest Carpet Fest or Brian, and they'll take care of that. I unfortunately cannot make it. It'll be the first time I have not made it to my home fest. So it's just how it goes with work sometimes. Couldn't get the time off for the Sunday, so it just wasn't going to work. So unfortunately, I have to let everyone down. But y'all can go, and the auction will still be fun. And then there's Northeast Carpet Fest. That's June 8th, so that's coming up sooner. And that's in Warminster, PA, Pennsylvania. So that's East Coast, Northeast area. So that's going on out there if you're out in that area. They do have a Facebook page for it. You can definitely get all the details for that too. So definitely try and make it to a Carpet Fest if you've never been. There's been a lot of people asking about it I've been seeing lately, and Carpet Fest is essentially just a low-key hangout, barbecue that usually has an auction and a cool t-shirt you can buy to remember the event that also helps raise money. And lately, outside of just raising money for USARK, some of the various Carpet Fests have even been raising money for NIDO research. So it's a great way to just hang out, meet some people, and contribute to something bigger than just keeping a snake or making friends. It's really rad, and there's like 5 or 6 chapters now. 5? Well, there's 5 in the States. There's one in the UK as well. So it's growing, and it's not for vending or selling. People aren't setting up booths. They're not bringing animals. It's just literally barbecue, hangout, get together, network. People fly in. People get hotels. People drive in. If there's room at whoever's place is hosting it, usually people crash there sometimes, and it's a good time. And at the Southeast Carpet Fest out in Florida, they even had a whole nidovirus panel, which they videotaped and is up on YouTube as well for, I think it's under the Herpetoculture podcast video stuff. But a lot of good stuff going on. So if you're on the fence about going, you should definitely get off the fence and just go. So as I'm sitting here telling you that I'm not making it to my own one this year. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. It's going to be a short one today. I'm not going, 30 minutes like normal. We did touch on some stuff, and I apologize. I had to sort of change the schedule again. It seems to be my consistency around here is keeping you guys on your toes. But next week I don't have anything planned on Friday, so we should be able to do it a little more predictably. Dang. 1,000-year-old donut recipe? What? Can't say no to that kind of a donut. That's like historic. I would try that. Barbecue food donuts, nice. Yep, that sounds like a party to me. So I'm gonna leave you all on that. I've got to get over to a doctor's appointment, and then I got work. So think about Carpet Fest. If any of y'all are looking for jungles or zebras or potentially a super, if I have any that I'll let go of down the line, keep that in mind. Should have some stuff ready by the fall. It takes time. It's not going to be ready right away. I was hoping to be able to have stuff ready for Pomona in August, which I am going to. I did get time off for that. But I won't bring any animals because I don't think anything will be hatched or ready. So on that note, Think of Carpet Fest. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.